We just heard from Rotary what has been done during the year 23-24. Though there are some problems, yet the club has carried on with its program and brought the club back to its health. Now it is time for Rotary and Dipak to carry forward the legacy of the club, especially as we are going to celebrate our 60th year. 60th year, when Rotary is celebrating 120 years. That means we are formed when Rotary was 50 years old. 60 years old. So, with this, it is my pleasure now to install Rotary Dipak Naik as the president of my home club, the Rotary Club of Mapusa, and I wish him all the best.
I shall endure the fun and fellowship in club project, fellowship events. In summary, our primary focus for the year will be membership development and leadership, membership development retention, public image, project and fundraiser, Rotary Foundation, Rotary Family, club training leadership program, youth program, health and education, club service and administration. Let me take this opportunity to congratulate IPP Amol Barve for his successful and his board for successful year. IPP Barve is like lucky, माझ्यासारखं lucky झाला तो. माका 60 वर्षाचो प्रेसिडेंट झालो आणि तो आमच्या क्लबान सेकंड टाइम इज द प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ दिस क्लब.
As the president of our club for the year 24-25, as I mentioned earlier while I was installing Dipak, we are entering our 60th year of service to communities in around Mapusa, Prez and the Goa. Whereas Rotary is completing 120 years. It was started in 1905, as you all know. So that means, as I mentioned, halfway through the Rotary, Rotary's movement that was spreading all over the world, our club came into existence. We were chartered. We were the third club in Goa to be chartered. First being Penjim and then it was Margao. We were the third to start. And then therefore, we have been doing this service to the community for the last almost 60 years, continuously without a break. We just heard the report that was given by Avadut of the activities that was carried out. And I must compliment and congratulate Amol and his team of the year 23-24 for the excellent work, for the good work that they have done. They have continued to carry on. More so because Amol had to take over the presidency halfway.
Classified the Sayadri region as a level 1 tiger conservation unit. Level 1. It says it's the second best habitat in India after Sundarbans. Sundarbans is a huge tiger population, very, very endemic. But the Sayadris, where we are, is the second best in India and 8th globally. So not a small sort of accolade, 8th globally. In 2008, there was a study by the Wildlife Institute of India, and it said the forests of Goa and Maharashtra are prime tiger habitats. And in 2014, there was a report called The Status of Tigers in India by the National Tiger Conservation Authority, and it revealed the presence of 5 tigers in Goa. So these are the scientific studies. This is what the local people say. This is what the Mahabharata says. This is what folklore says. How did the politicians react to this? In 2011, there were studies saying that there are tigers in Goa. So in 2011, the then Environment Minister, Sri Jairam Ramesh, wrote to the Chief Minister of Goa, Sri Digambar Kamath, urging him, that letter you can't read, but at the beginning and the end you can see, it says, Mr. Digambar Kamath, please convert your sanctuaries into tiger reserve status. The Tiger Conservation Authority wrote to the Goa government to notify a tiger reserve for Goa. It issued this direction for the entire Eastern Wildlife Sanctuary area, the Made-Kotigaon complex. It called it the Made-Kotigaon Wildlife Complex. It issued this direction under Section 38V of the Wildlife Protection Act, which requires the state to act accordingly. You can see that slide there. I don't have the note what it says, but basically it says that you are directed to set up a tiger reserve for Goa. What was the Goa government's reaction? It reacted immediately, as per law. Immediately it commenced the process of identifying the area to be notified as a tiger reserve. It brought experts from other states and went through all the sanctuaries, looking at what has to be done, what has to be marked as a tiger reserve. And in December 2018, it had a tiger reserve plan and map submitted to the government. 2 years after it was told set up a tiger reserve, the forest officers had done it. Now the accompanying note said that the tiger reserve would be 745.18 square kilometers of the wildlife sanctuary. Very, very important to know. No new area. What was already sanctuary, from that area, 745.18 square kilometers would be the tiger reserve. Out of that, 538 was to be the core zone. The core zone is for the tigers. Human beings would have to be moved out of the core zone. And 166 would be the buffer zone. In the buffer zone, human beings are encouraged to remain, and I'll tell you why. So core zone, move them out. Buffer zone, let them be. Now, that note of 745.18 square kilometers clarified that the main villages and the human habitations were excluded. So none of would remain. They could get jobs in Project Tiger projects, whatever is there, and from whatever occupations they are doing, they could enhance it with other occupations. Therefore, the court refused to accept the Goa government's submission that the National Tiger Conservation Authority's letter was a suggestion and not a direction, considering the past reports, considering the studies done, considering the death of the 4 tigers, and considering the NTCA's report. And it said that if we delay, we might be responsible for death of tigers as well. Therefore, the expression shall in the letter of section 38(5) has to be read as mandatory. Now, what were the directions? It said to the state government, notify the tiger reserve within 3 months and make a comprehensive plan. That is your plan for money. months, establish additional anti-poaching camps within 6 months, prevent further encroachments, people going into the wildlife areas, and expedite the determination of rights and claims of forest dwellers within 1 year. In June 2024, I filed an application in the High Court asking for what has been done, because matter went to Supreme Court, but Supreme Court did not stay the High Court order. That means it did not say hold on. It only said we will issue notice to the central government. That's all it did. That was somewhere in November last year, and the matter is, it takes 2-3 months for things to happen. So they did not stay the High Court, which means that these directions should be complied with. Of course, there is a main challenge to setting up of the tiger reserve, so that we cannot do. But right now, in June, the state informed the High Court it has set up 8 additional anti-poaching squads, and it says it's carrying out the settlement of rights of forest dwellers and hopes to complete it within this year. 50 years, 30 years, but they are ready to finish it now within 1 year because of the whip of the High Court. So forest dwellers who have to be moved out have made their claims. They have to check the RO, that is the officer, whatever, revenue officer. He has to check whether they are legitimate, not encroachers. Encroachers cannot get, but those who have got homes there, whatever ration cards, they are people who live there, they will get the compensation. So government says